So the reason why I want to talk about this before getting into the actual facts and events of the Great Depression is because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page with our vocabulary. As we keep reading, we're going to be learning about new political parties and through that kind of new economic systems, not necessarily new globally, but new to Canada, such as communism, socialism, and we're going to look more at the idea of libertarianism as well. I mean, to be completely honest, when I was in grade 11, if someone had been like, hey, what's communism? I wouldn't have been able to answer that just because I never learned it formally. I knew it had something to do with politics, something to do with Russia, but didn't really know what it was. And so I'm assuming that a lot of you are in the same boat, and I don't think it's fair of me to be like, oh, and then the Communist Party did this, and you to be like, I don't know what communism is. So I want to make sure that we're all working with the same vocabulary and the same ideas. So what we're going to talk about today basically just boils down to how much the government is controlling the economy of the society in question. So like I said, when I was in grade 11, didn't know what was going on. I'm like, okay, well, what's communism compared to totalitarianism, and what really is a democracy? We're not so much looking at the spectrum of totalitarianism, just because that's more about government control of the people. So freedom of religion, freedom of expression, what you can and can't do, that's more what that means. Today we're looking at strictly government control of money. So I'm going to be using colors in this just to showcase what I'm talking about. All the colors are doing is just further showing this is a spectrum and where these ideas are going to fit onto the spectrum. So under no government control, that's going to be more green. And the further you get towards total government control, that's going to be more purple. And then in the middle, there's going to be some blue. And yeah, again, that's just to make it a little bit more visual and easier to understand. All right, so on the very left-hand side of the spectrum, again, not necessarily left-wing, just this happens to be the left side where I chose to put this, for no government control is libertarianism. So this basically means every person is for themselves. You do your job, you earn your money, you spend your money how you want it, and then that's just the way it goes. So it's a totally free market, and you're looking at as little government intervention in the economy as entirely possible. So an economic system under this name would look like low taxes, and people who are libertarianists who really like this ideology tend to advertise it as more money in the pockets of the people, right, and less taxes going to the government. You can kind of just do what you want with your own money. On the complete other side, so total government control of the economy, that's communism. Now, like I said before, this is a word that most of you are probably familiar with, but might not actually know exactly what it means. So it's complete government control of the economy. There is absolutely no private property or private wealth. So nobody owns anything. There really isn't even like a market because nobody owns businesses. And just everybody is the same. Everybody's equal. There's no social classes. And really, in a true communist society, there would be no money. You just do your job because that's your job, and everybody gets the same thing. So people who are communists advocate for this because they're like, well, it's not fair that some people are richer than other people because it's just a construct, and why can't we just all be equal? So very similar to communism is socialism. You'll notice that I've indicated two different branches. So there's Marxist socialism and democratic socialism. Marxist socialism or true socialism, is based on the ideas of Karl Marx, who is a famous Russian communist. So it's very difficult to distinguish the differences between his brand of socialism and communism. You'd be really getting into the nitty-gritty of it. This is not a political science course, so what I want to talk about mainly is democratic socialism. If you keep up at all with American politics, you've probably heard this phrase tossed around because candidate Bernie Sanders identifies himself as a democratic socialist. So what do democratic socialists believe? So they're about as well government control of the economy. They want that intervention. As opposed to libertarianism, you'd be looking at higher taxes. But those taxes would be going to help the government help lower classes and people who need that help. So there's still opportunity for private wealth. You're going to have people who are richer than other people, but not quite to the same degree as in a libertarian society. So Bernie Sanders' whole thing and the Democratic Socialist thing is that there should not be people with billions and billions of dollars and at the same time people living on the streets because they have no money. Democratic Socialists would say that's completely unfair and there needs to be measures in place to stop that. So the idea of a maximum wage, like this is the most money that anybody can possibly earn no matter what you do, that is a Democratic Socialist idea. And you're also looking at all public banks, public schools, public prisons, none of that would be private. You'll notice that I've added some guiding philosophies to these text boxes. So the libertarian philosophy is a success based on merit, right? You work hard, you should have more. Communist philosophy is everybody should be exactly equal. And then a socialist philosophy is similar to this, basically saying, everybody should have an equal chance of succeeding no matter the circumstances that you were born into, is that idea. So I'm not going to go into the details of conservatism and liberalism, just because from living in Canada, you kind of know what it means in our society, within our context, to be a conservative or to be a liberal. I just wanted to include them to show that this truly is a spectrum. Most people aren't straight libertarianists. Most people aren't straight communists or socialists. Obviously, you can't generalize. Everybody in Canada would place themselves somewhere different on this spectrum, but most people in Canadian society are going to situate themselves somewhere in that circle. As we can see from election results with the Conservatives and Liberals all flip-flopping between winning, as a society, we're somewhere in there. And yeah, I just included these to show kind of where they fit into this spectrum, right? Liberalism, you're looking at, okay, well, we want more social programs and we want more publicly funded things, and at the end of the day, we'll take a tax raise to make that happen. Conservatives are saying, okay, well, we want lower taxes, we want more money in the pockets of the people, like I said before, and we'll take less social programs to make that happen. There's a lot of contention between these ideas. Obviously, none of these ideas are inherently the right answer or are inherently evil. That's ridiculous. But conservatives are like, oh, well, liberals are idealists and communism and communists, and liberals are like, oh, conservatives don't care about other people. Neither of those things are necessarily true. That's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, just to kind of show you where this fits in and how this relates to our society today.